In this video, you're going to be taking a look at the Imperial TIE Fighter pilot for the Black Series 6-inch line. This is a reacquisition. I mentioned before that I used to own the TIE Fighter pilot for the Black Series. I got them at the same time as my Black Series IG-88. And this was in September 2015, actually. Then I decided in 2016, I was thinking, well, we're probably never going to get an OT TIE Fighter for the Black Series. At this point, it was already clear that Black Series video or Black Series vehicles were not going to sell very well, because at this point, the First Order TIE Fighter was not doing very well at retail. And I thought, why am I going to hold on to a TIE Fighter pilot if I can't even use him for a TIE Fighter at any point? So then I went ahead and sold him. This was probably about 2016, or probably in early 17, actually. And to be honest, not too long after that, I was like, why did I decide to do that? But then we fast forward 7 years later and adding him back in the collection. It looks really good. This is not the same version that I own. The first one was in the TIE Fighter packaging, which was the blue and black packaging. And this was actually this anniversary one here, and that and the original were actually side by side at the comic book store that I got this one. It's just passing through recently, and I happened to see him on the shelves, and I thought, well, maybe I should take advantage of this. And he was only $12.99, so I thought, not a bad deal at all. So I'll go ahead and add him back in the collection. The original they were asking for, it was a lot more than $12.99. It's probably $30, but I thought, well, this one might have slightly better paint apps. I don't think there's really a significant difference between the two, but maybe it'll just be slightly more updated than the original. Plus, it's a way to differentiate between the two with the original and then this one. Here's a good look at the package here. Very similar to the classic TIE Fighter pilot package. 40th Empire Strikes Back. And I'm decided to do an unboxing for this because I have showed an unboxing for the anniversary cards for the Black Series before. I did do one for Empire Strikes Back, so I figure it's different enough to do this. And plus, since I have a little bit of a history with this action figure, I figure this would be a good unboxing to do. Back of the card. I do not have any of these other action figures. I did see the Hoth Rebel Trooper there at the time I got this TIE Fighter pilot recently. Wouldn't be a bad action figure to own, perhaps someday. The Lando, it's a very nice action figure, but I wouldn't say I'm the biggest fan of Lando to the point where I would want to get a Black Series action figure of him as well. Same with the Snowspeeder Luke. And that R2 is nice. It's basically just a repaint of the original, which I do have reviewed on the channel. Anyway, let's just go ahead and take this guy out of the package. I did go ahead and get it started here. Pretty good. Very nice. I recall correctly, back in 2014 and 15, when the TIE Fighter pilot was originally released, I think he was a little bit more on the rare side. Besides the FYE that I got that I got the original at, I don't think I ever really saw this at retail again. But ever since the anniversary releases, and I think there may have been a couple others as well. There is a carbonized one now. I think the prices and the rarity behind this guy have gone down a lot. Very nice helmet sculpt there. Paint looks really good. It's almost a matte black, but it does have a little bit of a crisp to it, a little bit of a shine. Looks really good. There's the control box here with the breathing tubes. It's very nice. It's the armor here. The belt with a holster. Interesting they decided to put the holster on his left hip. On basically Legacy Collection / TBC / so many other lines over the years, they decided to do it on the right hip. I imagine a lot of people would like to see this Black Series one scaled down into TBC. At this point, whether or not we're going to get a new TIE Fighter pilot is hard to tell. It doesn't really seem to be in the conversation so much these days. We have the rest of his suit here. Black boots. Not a whole lot of color outside of the Imperial emblems. And some blues and some reds on the control box. I don't think that's removable. Yeah, it doesn't feel like it. Articulation is pretty standard. You know, you have the ball joint at the neck there, or a double hinge at the neck. Would recommend being careful though because of those breathing tubes. You don't want those to potentially break off on you. And then hinge shoulders, elbows, hinge wrists, and joint the torso, and then hinge hips, swivel thigh, double hinge at the knees. But even though it has the pins, they blend in pretty good with the all black. And the rocker ankles. And as you can see, his only accessory here is the E11. It is a little unique because it has some silver paint on the side here. Yeah, my original TIE Fighter pilot for the Black Series that I had him displayed on my Imperial shelf in the middle. Kind of like the in-between. So I had the Sand Trooper, the TIE Pilot, and then Darth Vader at the other end, I think. Back in 2015. Holds the E11 well in his hand. This one, or his right hand, has the trigger finger. Let's see if it's supposed to go in backwards, actually. Yeah, that won't be a fit because of that magazine there. Holds it pretty good in both hands. These two look pretty good side by side. This is the re-release of the TVC version. It was one of the first reviews I did on the channel as well. What we're bringing out, I kind of see these two as companion pieces. A really hard time getting this IG-88 to stand up though. It's about the best I can do. Well, it's nice to see these two reunited. Have a 9-year history now. I think that's pretty much all I can tell you about the TIE Fighter pilot here. So would I recommend one for your collection? I totally would. If you don't have one yet, I would suggest looking into getting one. Of all the Imperial troopers, pilots, etc. that Hasbro has made over the years for the Black Series, I think this is one of the better ones. Fortunately, the prices on him are not too bad now because he's kind of been saturated in the market. And I'm sure a lot of people are not going to buy a TIE Fighter pilot solely because there's probably never going to be a vehicle to accompany him. Unless you get the first order TIE Fighter, and some people have done repaints of that. But even now, despite the clearance prices that we saw for it back in 2016 and 17 even, I think it's a little bit more expensive now. Probably more expensive than most people would be willing to pay. But still, you can't go wrong with having a TIE Fighter pilot in your collection. He's a very nice action figure. Like I said, I'm sure a lot of people would love to see this scaled down into TVC and would be very happy with it. I think that'd be a great opportunity on Hasbro's part. Glad to have him back in the collection. But anyways, that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for plenty more reviews in the future. There will always be more to come. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I always appreciate all your support, and check out some links in the description if you haven't done so already. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.